People tell you weddings reveal character. They don't. They reveal priorities, and in my case, who my son decided he didn't need anymore. I'm 52 years old. I own a fleet of trucks. Not glamorous work. Not the kind of thing that gets you invited to country clubs or mentioned in local business magazines. Just diesel fuel, asphalt, early mornings, and enough contracts to keep 37 drivers employed year-round. My hands are calloused. My back aches most mornings. I smell like motor oil more often than cologne. My son Tyler used to think that was cool. When he was 7, he'd climb into the cab of my Peterbilt and pretend to shift gears. When he was 12, he'd help me check tire pressure on Saturdays, and I'd pay him $20 for the afternoon. When he was 16, I taught him to drive stick in the yard behind the warehouse, and he stalled out 17 times before he got it right. We laughed until our sides hurt. That was before college, before he met people who measured worth in stock portfolios and vacation homes, before he learned to be ashamed. My wife Rebecca saw it coming. She always sees things coming. She's the kind of woman who notices when someone's smile doesn't reach their eyes, when a handshake lasts half a second too long, when a compliment has teeth hidden in it. He's embarrassed, she told me 3 years ago, after Tyler brought his girlfriend home for Thanksgiving. The girlfriend, Emma, had looked around our living room like she was touring a museum exhibit called How Middle America Used to Live. She'd complimented the vintage furniture that was just old furniture and called our neighborhood charming in a tone that meant small. He's not embarrassed, I'd said. He's just trying to impress her. Rebecca had given me that look, the one that says I'm being willfully blind because the truth would hurt too much. She was right. She's always right. The signs multiplied. Tyler stopped mentioning what I did for work when he introduced me to his friends. Started saying I was in logistics instead of I drive trucks and own the company that drives more trucks. Stopped coming home for weekends. Stopped calling just to talk. Our conversations became transactional. Birthdays, holidays, weddings. Especially weddings. He called me 4 months ago. April. I was in the warehouse office, reviewing fuel costs and trying to figure out how to absorb a diesel price spike without laying anyone off. My phone buzzed. Tyler's name on the screen. I smiled before I answered. Stupid, hopeful reflex. Dad, he said. No preamble. Emma and I are getting married. That's great, I said. And I meant it. Or I tried to mean it. Emma wasn't my favorite person, but if Tyler loved her, that was enough. That's what you tell yourself when you're a parent. Congratulations. When? August. We're thinking August. Outdoor ceremony, probably 300 guests. Emma's parents have some ideas about venues, but we wanted to run everything by you first. That should have been my first warning. The way he said Emma's parents have ideas, like they were the creative directors, and we were just the funding source. Sure, I said. Whatever you need. The thing is, Tyler continued, and his voice took on that careful tone, the one people use when they're about to ask for money but want to pretend they're not. Emma's family is handling a lot of the planning, but we could really use help with some of the bigger costs. The venue deposit is $30,000. Catering's another $40,000. We were hoping... I'll cover it, I said. Silence on the other end. Then, seriously? You're my son. It's your wedding. Of course I'll cover it. More silence. Then a laugh. Nervous. Dad, that's amazing. Emma's going to be thrilled. Her parents were worried about... He stopped himself, but I heard what he didn't say. Emma's parents were worried about whether the truck driver could actually afford a real wedding. I'll wire the deposit tomorrow, I said. Send me the venue information. Thanks, Dad, really. This means everything. He hung up quickly after that. Probably went to tell Emma the good news. Probably phrased it as, we secured funding, rather than my dad's paying for everything. Rebecca was in the kitchen when I came home that night. She took one look at my face and said, How much? Venue deposit, catering, maybe more. He didn't specify a total. And you said yes. He's getting married. What was I supposed to say? She dried her hands on a dish towel and crossed her arms. Not angry, just resigned. You were supposed to ask questions, like whether Emma's family is contributing, like whether they've set a budget, like whether Tyler actually wants you involved or just wants your money. That's cynical. That's realistic. I poured myself a whiskey. He's my son. I'm not going to nickel and dime his wedding. I'm not asking you to nickel and dime anything. I'm asking you to protect yourself. From what? She didn't answer. She just looked at me with those dark, knowing eyes, the ones that saw 3 moves ahead in every conversation. Over the next 3 months, the requests kept coming. Transportation for guests. I offered my entire fleet. Floral arrangements. I knew a supplier who owed me a favor. Photography. I found a guy who did excellent work and didn't charge celebrity prices. The rehearsal dinner venue. I owned a building downtown that I'd been meaning to renovate. I pushed the renovation forward 3 months and had it ready by July. I didn't keep a running total. That felt petty, but Rebecca did. She tracked every expense in a spreadsheet, every wire transfer, every check, every favor called in. $193,000, not counting the trucks, the fuel, the driver overtime. You're being taken advantage of, she said in July, showing me the numbers. I'm being a father. Those 2 things aren't mutually exclusive. I ignored her. I wanted to believe Tyler would notice, would acknowledge what I was doing, would pull me aside at some point and say, Dad, I can't believe you're doing all this. Thank you. I don't know how to repay you. But he didn't. The only communication I got was logistical. The caterer needs a deposit by Friday. The venue wants confirmation on the sound system. Emma's parents are asking about parking availability. Never, thank you. Never. I appreciate this. Never. I know this is a lot. And I kept paying, kept saying yes, kept telling myself this was what fathers did. The wedding was scheduled for August 14th. Outdoor ceremony at a vineyard estate 2 hours north. Emma's dream venue. Rolling hills, string lights, a view of the valley that looked like a postcard. I'd bought the venue 6 years ago. Investment property. Rented it out for events. Made decent money. Tyler didn't know I owned it. I'd bought it under an LLC, separate from the trucking business. Rebecca had insisted on keeping things compartmentalized. Why? I'd asked at the time. Because someday you might need leverage, she'd said. And leverage only works if people don't see it coming. I didn't understand what she meant then. I do now. The week before the wedding, Tyler called again. Hey, Dad, quick question. The venue needs a final head count. Emma's parents are covering some of the guest overflow costs, but we wanted to make sure you knew the final numbers. Emma's parents are covering overflow costs, as if they'd paid for anything at all. Sure, I said. What's the count? 347. Bigger than we planned, but Emma's family has a lot of connections. No problem. Great. Also, we finalized the seating chart. You and Mom are at table 9. It's close to the dance floor. Emma thought you'd like that. Table 9. Not the family table. Not even a table near the family table. Table 9, with the distant cousins and the people who sent gifts, but barely knew the couple. Sounds good? I said, because what else do you say? Awesome. See you Saturday, Dad. I hung up. Rebecca was watching me from across the room. Table 9? He said it's close to the dance floor. It's a dismissal. It's fine. No, it's not. She was right. It wasn't fine. But I wasn't ready to admit it yet. The day before the wedding, I drove up to the venue to check on final preparations. The place looked immaculate. White chairs arranged in perfect rows, floral arches framing the ceremony space, tables set with crystal and gold flatware, a string quartet rehearsing near the garden entrance. I walked through the grounds and felt a strange disconnect. All of this existed because of me, the venue, the staff, the infrastructure, but nobody here knew that. To them, I was just another guest, another face in the crowd. I found the event coordinator near the kitchen. Young woman, clipboard, headset, the kind of efficient competence that made expensive weddings run smoothly. "Everything on schedule?" I asked. She glanced up, not recognizing me. "Yes, sir. Are you with the catering company?" "No, I'm the groom's father." Her expression shifted. Polite smile. "Oh, wonderful. Everything's going to be beautiful tomorrow. The bride's family has been amazing to work with." The bride's family, not the groom's family. Not both families, just Emma's. "Glad to hear it," I said. I left before I said something I'd regret. That night, Rebecca and I had dinner at the hotel near the venue. Small Italian place. Quiet. We didn't talk much. She could tell I was processing something. She always knows when to push and when to let me work through things on my own. Finally, halfway through my pasta, I said, "He's not going to thank me tomorrow, is he?" She set down her fork. "No, he's not." "How do you know?" "Because he hasn't thanked you yet. Why would tomorrow be different?" I didn't have an answer for that. We finished dinner in silence. That night, lying in bed at the hotel, I stared at the ceiling and tried to figure out when exactly I'd lost my son. Not physically, but the version of him who used to laugh in truck cabs and ask questions about engine compression and tell me I was his hero. That kid was gone, replaced by someone who measured value in social currency and saw me as an inconvenient reminder of where he came from. I should have been sadder about it. Instead, I just felt cold. Rebecca's hand found mine in the dark. "You don't have to go through with this." "Go through with what?" "Pretending you're fine with being erased." I didn't answer, because I didn't know what the alternative was. As the story unfolds, hit the hype button, like, subscribe, and write in the comments. Would you forgive them or walk away? The morning of the wedding arrived with the kind of perfect weather that makes you believe in divine intervention. Clear sky, 78 degrees, light breeze that made the trees whisper but wouldn't knock over centerpieces. Emma's family probably thought they'd paid for this, bought the sunshine along with everything else they claimed credit for. I put on my suit, charcoal gray. Rebecca had picked it out, said it made me look distinguished. I felt like I was wearing a costume. Give me jeans and a work shirt any day. But this was Tyler's wedding. I could play dress up for one afternoon. Rebecca wore navy blue, simple dress, elegant. She always knew how to look expensive without trying. We'd been married 28 years. I still wasn't sure what I'd done to deserve her. "You ready?" she asked, adjusting my tie. "No." "Good. That means you're paying attention." We drove to the venue in silence. The parking lot was already half full. Valets directing traffic, guests in designer clothes stepping out of luxury cars. I recognized some of Tyler's college friends, recognized some of Emma's family from previous gatherings, didn't recognize most of the crowd, 347 people. I'd paid for every single one of them to be here, and I'd probably get introduced to fewer than 30. We found table 9. It was exactly where Tyler had promised, close to the dance floor, far from everything that mattered. 2 of Rebecca's cousins were already seated. Nice people. Hadn't seen them in 3 years. We made small talk about weather and work and traffic, safe topics, the kind of conversation you have with people you barely know anymore. Emma's family held court near the front. Her parents, Gregory and Patricia, looked like they'd stepped out of a catalog. Him in an expensive suit that probably cost more than my monthly mortgage. Her in a champagne-colored dress with jewelry that caught the light every time she moved. They were surrounded by well-wishers, friends, business associates, people who mattered in their world. Gregory caught my eye across the venue, gave me a nod, the kind you'd give a parking attendant. Acknowledgement without warmth. Tyler appeared near the garden entrance. His groomsmen surrounded him, all corporate types, all wearing the same brand of confident smile that came from never having to worry about money. Tyler looked nervous, happy nervous, the good kind. I waited for him to look around, to find me in the crowd, to give me some signal that he was glad I was there. He didn't. His eyes scanned right past table 9 like it didn't exist. "Breathe," Rebecca said quietly. "I'm breathing." "No, you're holding your breath and clenching your jaw." She was right. I forced myself to relax. This was supposed to be a happy day. Tyler's day. I could swallow my ego for a few hours. The ceremony started at 4. Emma walked down the aisle like she was floating. Her dress probably cost more than my first car. She was beautiful. I could admit that. Whatever else I thought about her, she was beautiful, and Tyler looked at her like she'd hung the moon. The officiant said all the standard words: love, commitment, partnership, building a life together. I tried to focus on those words, tried to feel happy for Tyler, tried to forget that I was sitting 40 feet away from my only son while strangers occupied the front rows. They exchanged vows, personal ones. Emma talked about how Tyler had shown her what it meant to be ambitious, to dream bigger, to never settle for ordinary, as if ordinary was something to be ashamed of. Tyler's vows were about transformation, about becoming the man Emma deserved, about leaving behind old limitations and embracing new possibilities, leaving behind old limitations. I wondered if I counted as an old limitation. They kissed. Everyone applauded. The string quartet played something classical and moving. Emma and Tyler walked back down the aisle as husband and wife, beaming at the crowd. Tyler's eyes passed over table 9 again without stopping. Cocktail hour happened on the lawn. Servers circulated with champagne and hors d'oeuvres. I nursed a whiskey and watched the crowd. Emma's family clustered in the center like planets, and everyone else orbited around them. Gregory held court, telling stories that made people laugh. Patricia networked like it was an Olympic sport. They were good at this, being the center of attention, making everyone feel lucky to be in their presence. I stood at the edge of the lawn and felt invisible. Rebecca joined me with a glass of wine. "You want to leave?" "Can't leave my son's wedding." "You could. Nobody would notice." She wasn't being cruel, just honest. Tyler and Emma worked the crowd, accepting congratulations, posing for photos, playing the perfect couple. They reached Emma's parents and there was a moment of pure theater. Hugging, laughing, Gregory clapping Tyler on the shoulder like they were old friends. Patricia kissing Emma's cheek and saying something that made everyone nearby smile. Family. That's what the moment said. Look at this beautiful family. I waited for Tyler to break away, to find me, to introduce Emma to the people at the edges. But he didn't. He stayed in the gravitational pull of Emma's family, safe, accepted, belonging. Dinner was announced. Everyone moved inside. The reception hall looked like something from a magazine. Chandelier lighting, floral centerpieces so elaborate they probably had their own insurance. A head table on a raised platform, Tyler and Emma in the center, Emma's parents to their right, her brother and sister-in-law to their left. No space for the groom's parents. We weren't important enough for the platform. Table 9 was in the back corner, near the kitchen doors. Every time a server pushed through with a tray, we got a blast of cooking smells and noise. Dinner was served. Salmon, filet, vegetarian option, all perfectly prepared, all courtesy of a catering company I'd found and paid for. The woman to my left, one of Emma's aunts, complained that her salmon was slightly overcooked. I bit my tongue and said nothing. The speeches started after dinner. Best man went first, Tyler's college roommate. I'd met him once, maybe twice. He told stories about late-night study sessions and spring break adventures, and Tyler's legendary ability to talk his way out of trouble. Everyone laughed. Tyler looked embarrassed but pleased. Emma's maid of honor went next. Her sister. She cried through half the speech, talked about growing up together, about Emma's dreams, about how she'd always known Emma would find someone extraordinary. Gregory stood up without being announced, took the microphone like he owned it. Maybe he thought he did. "I'm not going to talk long," he said. which meant he absolutely was going to talk long. But I want to say a few words about my daughter and her new husband. He talked about Emma's accomplishments, her education, her career, her refined taste. He talked about Tyler's potential, his drive, his bright future. He talked about how proud he was to welcome Tyler into the family, how excited they were to support the newlyweds as they built their life together. Emma's mother and I want Tyler to know, Gregory said, his voice getting emotional, that we're here for you. Whatever you need, whatever you're building, you're not just gaining in-laws, you're gaining partners, allies, family. More applause. Gregory handed the microphone to Patricia. She echoed everything he'd said, but with more tears. Talked about watching Emma grow up, about prayers answered, about divine timing, about the blessing of seeing your child find their soulmate. She finished by saying, "To everyone who made this day possible, the vendors, the coordinators, our family and friends who traveled to be here, thank you. This wouldn't be the same without your love and support. Everyone who made this day possible, except the person who actually paid for the entire thing." Patricia sat down. The microphone went to Emma's brother. He made jokes, light, funny, appropriate. Everyone laughed. Tyler laughed. I waited. Surely Tyler would speak. Surely he'd say something. Thank people. Acknowledge contributions. Do the right thing. Tyler stood up, took the microphone, looked around the room with that bright, nervous smile. "Wow," he said. "This has been incredible. Emma and I are just overwhelmed by all of this." He paused, collected himself, continued. "I want to thank Emma's parents, Gregory and Patricia. You've been so generous, so welcoming. The way you've embraced me into your family means more than I can say. This whole day, this venue, this celebration, it's beyond anything I imagine. Thank you." He thanked Emma's sister, her brother, his groomsmen, his best man, the vendors, the coordinator, the DJ, the photographer. He thanked everyone except the two people sitting at table 9 in the back corner. Rebecca's hand found mine under the table, squeezed hard. Tyler raised his glass. To family, to new beginnings, to everyone who believed in us and helped us get here. We love you all. Everyone drank. Everyone applauded. Emma kissed him. Her parents stood and hugged them both. It was a perfect moment, and I wasn't in it. I should have been angry, should have been hurt, should have stood up and made a scene, but I didn't feel anything. Just that same cold numbness that had been building for months. Rebecca leaned close, whispered in my ear. "Now?" "Now," I said. I stood up, walked toward the head table. The room was loud with conversation and music. Nobody noticed me moving through the crowd. Just another guest. Just another invisible face. I reached the platform, caught the coordinator's attention. She looked confused but handed me the microphone when I asked for it. Probably thought I was going to give a late toast. The room didn't quiet immediately. I had to tap the microphone. Twice. Then people started noticing. Started turning. Started wondering who the man in the gray suit was and what he wanted. Tyler noticed. His smile faltered, confused, nervous. I smiled back. Not warm, not cold. Just smiled. "Sorry to interrupt," I said. My voice carried across the room. Strange hearing myself amplified like that. "I know we're past the speech portion, but there's something I need to say." Emma's father half stood, uncertain whether to stop me. "I won't take long," I continued. "I just want to make sure everyone knows exactly who made this day possible." Tyler's face went pale. He knew. Somewhere in the back of his mind, he knew what was coming. "This venue," I said, gesturing around. "Beautiful, right? Rolling hills, perfect views, the kind of place you see in magazines. Emma's parents did a great job finding it." Patricia smiled. Gracious, accepting the compliment. "Except they didn't find it," I said. "I own it. Bought it 6 years ago. Investment property. The LLC that holds the deed, that's mine. Every dollar of rental fee that got paid to me, by me, for my son's wedding. The room went very quiet. The catering, I continued. $43,000 for 347 guests. Excellent food. Everyone enjoy their salmon? A few confused nods. I paid for it, called in a favor with the catering company I use for corporate events. Got them to do this at cost. Gregory was standing now. Now, wait, just... The transportation, I said, louder. All those luxury cars that pick people up from hotels, those are mine. My company, my trucks, my drivers working overtime on a Saturday because I asked them to. 14 vehicles, round trips. Nobody paid for that except me. I looked at Tyler, really looked at him. His face was red, ashamed, angry, trapped. The flowers, the sound system, the lighting, the photographer, the rehearsal dinner venue, all of it. I paused, let it sink in. $193,000, give or take. I stopped counting somewhere around June. 347 people holding their breath. So when my son thanked everyone who made this day possible, I said quietly, I just wanted to make sure we were all clear on who that actually was. I handed the microphone back to the coordinator. She took it like it was radioactive. I walked back to table 9, sat down, picked up my whiskey, drank. The silence lasted maybe 5 seconds. Then the room exploded. Whispers, gasps, shocked conversations. Emma's family looked like they'd been slapped. Tyler looked like he wanted to disappear. Rebecca squeezed my hand again. That was just the opening act, she said. I smiled. I know. Morning came with police presence. 2 officers, young, professional, took statements, examined the email, made sympathetic noises, promised to investigate. Realistically, the older one said, anonymous threats are hard to prosecute. We'll do what we can, but you might want to consider a restraining order if you know who sent this. We don't know for certain, I said. But you have suspicions? I told them about Gregory, about the wedding, about the escalating conflict. They took notes, nodded, looked skeptical. Family disputes, the younger officer said. They get messy, but usually they don't result in actual violence. Usually isn't always, Rebecca said. True, which is why we're taking this seriously. We'll patrol the area, keep an eye on your property, and if you receive any more threats, contact us immediately. They left. Rebecca and I stood in the warehouse parking lot and watched them drive away. That was useless, she said. It's on record. That's something. It's not enough. She was right, but what else could we do? I spent the day installing security cameras, better ones, more angles, coverage of every entrance, every blind spot, every corner where someone could hide. It took 6 hours and cost $3,000. Worth it if it kept us safe. Tyler called while I was on a ladder mounting a camera. I almost didn't answer. But curiosity won. What? I said. We need to talk, in person. I'm busy. Dad, please. This has gone too far. You tried to steal from me, threatened me through your father-in-law. I'd say it hasn't gone far enough. I didn't threaten you. But Gregory did. Silence. Then, what are you talking about? Don't play dumb. The email, the threats about accidents, very subtle. I don't know what email you're talking about. He sounded genuine, confused. Either he was a good liar or he really didn't know. Ask your father-in-law, I said. Ask him what he sent me at 3 a.m. Dad, I swear I don't. Come to the warehouse. Bring Emma. Bring Gregory if you want. We'll have this out face to face. When? Now. I'll be here. I hung up. Rebecca emerged from the office. They're coming? Tyler is. Maybe the others. Good. I want to see Gregory's face when we confront him. We don't have proof it was him. We don't need proof. We need to send a message that we're not backing down, that threats don't work. I finished mounting the camera, climbed down, checked the feed on my phone. Perfect clarity, Wide angle, recorded directly to cloud storage. Nothing could happen on my property without me knowing about it. Tyler arrived 30 minutes later, alone. He looked terrible, dark circles, wrinkled clothes, hair uncombed. The polished version of himself from the wedding was gone, replaced by someone exhausted and desperate. "Where's Emma?" I asked. "Home. She's not doing well." "And Gregory?" "I didn't tell him I was coming. I needed to talk to you without him, without lawyers, without everyone making this worse." We went inside, my office, same setup as before. Tyler sat in the chair. Rebecca and I stayed standing. Physical advantage, psychological advantage. Petty, maybe, but effective. "Show me the email," Tyler said. I pulled it up on my phone, handed it to him, watched his face as he read, saw genuine shock, genuine horror. "This isn't me," he said. "I didn't send this. I would never—" "But would Gregory?" He didn't answer right away, just stared at the screen. "Tyler, would your father-in-law send threats?" "I don't know," he said quietly. "He's been angry, really angry. He thinks you humiliated Emma, ruined her wedding. He said things—" "What things?" "That you need to be taught a lesson, that someone needs to put you in your place. But I thought he just meant lawyers, legal pressure, not—" He gestured at the phone. "Not this." Rebecca crossed her arms. "You thought wrong. I'll talk to him. I'll make him stop. You can't make him do anything. He's not your family, Tyler. He's Emma's, and Emma's family protects Emma, not you. That's not fair." "Fair? You want to talk about fair? Your wife's father threatened to hurt me, to hurt your mother. Is that fair?" Tyler stood up, paced, ran his hands through his hair. "This is insane. This whole situation is insane. How did we get here?" "You tell me," I said. "When did this start? When did you decide I was disposable?" "I never thought you were disposable." "You acted like it." "I was trying to fit in. Emma's family has money, status. They expected certain things. I didn't want them to know that I came from—" He stopped himself. "From what? Say it." "From nothing." The word hung in the air, heavy, brutal, honest. "You think I'm nothing," I said, quiet, calm, like observing a fact. "No, I thought they would think you were nothing. So I tried to hide it, hide you, hide where I came from. And I'm sorry. I know that's not an excuse. I know I hurt you. But I was scared." "Scared of what?" "Of losing Emma. Of not being good enough for her. Of them finding out I'm just the son of a truck driver. Just the son of a truck driver. Like that's something shameful." He looked at me, eyes wet. "Isn't it?" And there it was. The core of everything. Tyler was ashamed. Not of what I'd done, not of how I'd treated him, but of what I was. What he came from. The working-class roots he couldn't escape no matter how hard he tried. Rebecca spoke before I could. "Your father built a business from nothing. He employs 40 people. He pays for your life. And you're ashamed of him? You don't understand. Emma's world is different. They have expectations. Standards. Standards that include disrespecting the people who sacrifice for you? I didn't mean to disrespect him. But you did. Over and over. And now you're here because your life is falling apart, and suddenly you need him again." Tyler turned to me, desperate. "I know I messed up. I know I hurt you, but please, don't do this. Don't take everything away. Emma and I, we can't survive without that money, without the apartment, without the car. We're drowning. And whose fault is that? Mine. It's my fault. I'm admitting it. What more do you want? I want you to mean it. I want you to understand why this happened. Not just say sorry because you're scared of consequences. I do understand. Do you? Because right now, you're here asking me to fix your problems. Same as always. You don't want to make amends. You want me to rescue you. That's not— He stopped, shoulders slumping. Maybe that's true. Maybe I do always expect you to fix things, but isn't that what fathers do? Fathers support their kids. They don't enable them. There's a difference. So, you're punishing me to teach me a lesson? Is that it? I'm letting you face the consequences of your choices. You wanted independence. Wanted to be seen as successful without my help. Fine. Here's your chance. He laughed. Bitter. You know what Emma said this morning? She said maybe we should get divorced, that this wasn't what she signed up for. We've been married 3 days, and she's already talking about leaving. Then maybe she married you for the wrong reasons. Maybe she did. Or maybe I lied to her about who I was, about what I could provide. Maybe this whole thing is built on a lie. For the first time since the wedding, Tyler sounded like himself. Not the polished social climber, not the ashamed son. Just a 26-year-old kid who'd made terrible choices and didn't know how to fix them. What do you want me to say? I asked. I want you to say you'll help me, that we can work this out, that you're still my father. I am still your father. That's why I'm doing this. That doesn't make sense. It will. Eventually. When you're on your feet again. When you've figured out who you are without my money propping you up, then you'll understand. He wiped his eyes. I can't afford the apartment, can't afford Emma's lifestyle, can't afford anything. We'll lose everything. Maybe that's what needs to happen. You really believe that? I thought about it. Really thought. Yeah, I do. You need to hit bottom, Tyler. You need to see what your choices cost. Otherwise, you'll never change. And if hitting bottom means losing Emma, then you'll lose Emma. And maybe that's for the best. He stared at me, like I was a stranger, like he didn't recognize me at all. You're colder than I thought. Or maybe I'm tired of being warm while you take advantage of it. He walked to the door, stopped, looked back. If I lose everything, if Emma leaves, if I end up broke and alone, I'll never forgive you. I can live with that. He left. Door closing. Footsteps fading. Gone. Rebecca sat down. Let out a long breath. That was hard. Yeah. You okay? No. Good. You shouldn't be okay. That was your son walking out of your life. I know. He might not come back. I know. By 2 a.m., we had a plan. By 3 a.m., we were exhausted. By 4 a.m., we finally slept. But not well. Because somewhere in the city, Gregory was planning his next move, and we had no idea what it would be. The forensic accountant moved fast, faster than expected. 5 days later, Rebecca got a call. Found something, the accountant said. 2 offshore accounts, one in the Caymans, one in Switzerland, both showing regular deposits that don't match his reported income. How much? Rebecca asked, putting him on speaker. Over the past 5 years, roughly $3 million that's unaccounted for in his tax filings. I sat up. That's tax fraud. Potentially. Depends on whether the accounts are properly disclosed, but based on what I'm seeing, they're not. Can you document this? Already did. I'll send the report, but you didn't get it from me. Understood. The report arrived an hour later. 23 pages. Bank statements, transfer records, dates and amounts, everything documented, everything damning. Rebecca printed it, highlighted key sections. This ends him, if we turn it in. Why wouldn't we? Because it involves Emma. And Tyler. If Gregory goes down, they go down too. She looked at me. You're worried about them. I'm worried about collateral damage. They created this situation. Tyler created it. Emma went along, Gregory escalated it, but Emma's still my daughter-in-law, and Tyler's still my son. Tyler stole from you. He's not acting like your son. He's acting like someone desperate and scared and making terrible decisions. That doesn't mean I want to destroy his life. Rebecca closed the folder. Then what do you want? Good question. What did I want? Revenge? Justice? Peace? All of it? None of it? I want Gregory to stop, I said. I want Tyler to wake up. I want this whole nightmare to end. Then use this. Give Gregory a choice. Back off or we go to the IRS. That's blackmail. That's negotiation. I thought about it, turned it over in my head, weighed options, consequences, outcomes. Okay, I said. Set up a meeting. Me, Gregory, our lawyers, neutral location. Let's end this. The meeting happened 2 days later. Coffee shop, public location. Witnesses around but private booth in the back. Gregory arrived with his lawyer. I arrived with mine and Rebecca. Gregory looked older, tired. The confident businessman from the wedding was gone, replaced by someone cornered and dangerous. This needs to stop, he said without preamble. Agreed. You've damaged my reputation, cost me clients, spread lies about my family. I've told the truth. If that damages your reputation, the problem isn't me. His jaw clenched. What do you want? I want you to leave me alone. Leave my business alone. Stop retaliating. Stop threatening. Stop destroying my property. I didn't destroy your property. Someone did. Someone you hired or convinced. Either way, it stops now. Or what? Rebecca slid the folder across the table. Or we give this to the IRS. Gregory's lawyer opened it, read, went pale, whispered urgently to Gregory. Gregory's face went through several emotions. Shock, anger, fear, then cold calculation. You can't prove I knew about those accounts, he said. We don't have to. We just have to show they exist, and they're not properly reported. The IRS does the rest. This is extortion. This is self-defense. You came after me. You came after my business. You threatened my wife. Now I'm giving you a way out. By destroying me. By giving you a choice. Leave us alone. Stop the attacks. Stop the retaliation. And this report stays private. And if I don't? Then we go public. IRS gets a copy. Your business partners get a copy. Local media gets a copy. And you spend the next 5 years fighting tax fraud charges. His lawyer leaned in. More whispered conversation. Gregory's face got redder, angrier, but also more resigned. I want immunity, he said finally. From what? From further action. If I agree to back off, you agree not to pursue this, not to release the report, not to damage my reputation further. Deal, as long as you honor your end. How do I know you will? Rebecca spoke up. Because unlike you, we keep our word. We didn't start this. We're just finishing it. Gregory stared at the folder, at the evidence of his own wrongdoing, at the trap he'd built for himself through years of cutting corners. Fine, he said. I'll back off. But Tyler and Emma stay out of this. They were always out of it. This is between you and me. Tyler's your son. Emma's my daughter. They're the reason this started. No. Your ego is the reason this started. You couldn't handle being shown up at a wedding, couldn't handle someone not bowing to your money and status. So you escalated, you threatened, you attacked. This is on you, Gregory, not Tyler, not Emma, you. He didn't respond, just stood up. His lawyer grabbed the folder. We'd brought copies. They left without another word. Rebecca exhaled. Think he'll honor it? Don't know, but we have leverage now. If he doesn't, we destroy him. Our lawyer nodded. I'll draft an agreement, get it signed, make it official. We left the coffee shop, stood in the parking lot. The afternoon sun was warm, normal, like the world hadn't just shifted. Is it over? I asked. Maybe. Or maybe it's just beginning the end. My phone buzzed, text from Tyler. Emma's dad told me about the meeting. Thank you for not releasing that report. I stared at the message. Didn't know how to respond. Didn't know if Tyler deserved a response. What do you want me to say? I texted back. I don't know. I just wanted you to know I'm grateful. And I'm sorry. Really sorry. For everything. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. Emma left me. I stopped walking. Read the message again. What? She left this morning. Said she can't handle the stress. Said she married me thinking I was someone I'm not. Said she wants an annulment. Rebecca read over my shoulder. He sounds devastated. He should have seen it coming. That doesn't mean it doesn't hurt. She was right. Tyler had made terrible choices. But he was still a kid in a lot of ways. Still learning, still hurting. Can we talk? Tyler's next message said. Face to face, please. I looked at Rebecca. She shrugged. Your call. Come to the house, I typed. Tonight. 7. Okay, thank you. I put my phone away. This is going to be hard. All the important conversations are. That night, Tyler showed up at 7 exactly. He looked worse than at the warehouse meeting, defeated, broken, like everything he'd built had collapsed. He sat at our kitchen table, same table where he'd eaten breakfast as a kid, same chairs, same house, but everything felt different. Emma's gone, he said. No preamble, no small talk, just the core truth. I heard. She said I lied to her, about who I was, about what I could provide, about my family. He laughed bitterly. She said she married up and got a disappointment instead. That's harsh. That's honest. I sold her a story, a fantasy version of myself, and when reality hit, she was done. Rebecca set coffee in front of him. He didn't touch it. Her dad's furious, Tyler continued, blames me for the whole mess, says I destroyed Emma's reputation, her dream wedding, her future. Gregory can blame whoever he wants. He made his own choices. So did I. I chose wrong, about everything. He finally looked at me. Really looked. You tried to tell me. Mom tried to tell me, but I didn't listen. No, you didn't. I thought I could be someone else, someone better, someone who fit into Emma's world. But I can't. I'm just me, the son of a truck driver, from a working-class family, and that should have been enough. It was always enough. I sat down across from him. It was never about being enough, Tyler. It was about being honest, about treating people with respect, about not erasing the people who loved you just because they didn't fit your image. I know, and I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. His voice broke. I lost Emma. I lost my apartment, my car, my savings. But worst of all, I lost you. And I don't know how to fix it. Rebecca and I exchanged a look. This was the moment, the one we'd been building toward. Tyler broken open, finally seeing the truth. You can't fix it overnight, I said. Trust isn't rebuilt with apologies. It's rebuilt with actions. Over time. I don't have time. I'm about to be evicted. I can't afford anything on my own. I have nowhere to go. You could come home, Rebecca said. Tyler's head snapped up. What? Temporarily, until you get on your feet. Your old room is still empty. Mom, He looked at me. Would that be okay? This was the decision. The one that would define everything moving forward. Take Tyler back, enable him, or hold the line, make him face consequences alone. I thought about the version of Tyler I'd lost, the kid in the truck cab, the teenager at graduation, the son who used to think I was a hero. That version was gone, maybe forever, but maybe there was a new version worth discovering, one who'd learned hard lessons, one who knew the cost of betrayal. You can stay, I said, with conditions. Anything. You get a job, any job. You pay rent, not much, but something. You contribute to the household, and you rebuild trust through action, not words. Okay, yes, I'll do all of that. And you go to counseling. Figure out why you made the choices you made. Work through the shame and the insecurity and the need to be someone you're not. He nodded, tears streaming now. Thank you. I don't deserve this. No, you don't. But that's what family does. We give chances, even when they're not deserved, as long as you don't waste it. I won't, I promise. Rebecca stood up. Your room needs cleaning. Hasn't been touched in years. We'll do that tomorrow. Tyler stood too, hugged her, then me. It was awkward, uncertain, but real. After he left to get his things, Rebecca and I sat in the quiet kitchen. "Think he'll follow through?" she asked. "I don't know, but we gave him a chance. What he does with it is up to him." "And Gregory?" "We wait. See if he honors the agreement. If he doesn't, we finish him." She nodded, sipped her coffee. "This isn't the ending I expected." "What did you expect?" "Total victory. Complete destruction of our enemies. Triumph over adversity." "This is better than that." "Is it?" "Yeah, because nobody wins when families destroy each other. We just all lose less." She smiled. "When did you get wise?" "When I got tired of being angry." My phone buzzed. Email this time. From Gregory's lawyer. Agreement attached. Both parties to sign within 48 hours. Binding arbitration clause included. Mutual non-disclosure. Effective immediately. I showed Rebecca. She read it. Nodded. "It's over." "Yeah. But it didn't feel over. It felt like the end of one chapter and the beginning of something else. Something uncertain. Something fragile. Tyler moved back home the next day. One suitcase, one box. Everything else gone or sold or abandoned. He looked lost in his old room. Too small for who he'd tried to become. Too large for who he was now. But he adapted. Got a job at a local warehouse. Loading trucks. Minimum wage. Humble work. The kind of work he'd looked down on 6 months ago. "It's honest," he said at dinner one night. "That's something." "It's more than something," I said. "It's the foundation." He started counseling. Saw a therapist twice a week. Worked through his issues, his shame, his fear of inadequacy. Slowly, painfully, he began to change. Gregory stayed away. Honored the agreement. No more threats. No more attacks. His business took a hit from the wedding scandal. Lost some clients. Lost some reputation. But survived. Emma filed for annulment. Went through quickly. No kids. No shared assets. Just a failed marriage 3 weeks old. Tyler took it hard. Spent days barely functioning. But he survived too. Months passed. Slowly. The wounds healed. Not completely. But enough. Tyler and I started talking again. Real conversations. Not about money or disappointments. About life. Work. What mattered. "I'm going back to school," he said one night. "Community college. Business management. Figure if I'm going to run a company someday, I should know what I'm doing." "Someday. Maybe. If you'll teach me. About the trucking business. How you built it. How you keep it running." I looked at Rebecca. She smiled. Encouraging. "Yeah," I said. "I can teach you." And maybe that was the real ending. Not destruction, not revenge, not total victory. Just reconciliation. Just a chance to rebuild. Just a son learning from his father again. Small, uncertain, but real.